Okay. Do you have any questions or any? Did you learn more about doubly linked list?
No, we didn't.
Okay. Any doubts or any?
No.
Okay. See, before I start the code, you need to keep in mind that in real world, we use doubly linked list more frequently.
Okay.
Like if you build any queue, say like you need to simulate any queuing system, we most frequently use double-ended queue, which internally you can use doubly linked list. Similarly, if you want to create, delete, or do any unsized list, suppose you don't know the size of any list, but if you need to create any unsized list, always doubly linked list is useful. Keep that in mind. But if you go to the company, most frequently you may get to use double linked list over single linked list. But in the interviews, they do ask more questions related to single linked list rather than DLL, double linked list. Why? The reason is the questions are more complex. The interview questions are more complex if it is related to single linked list, because you don't have a reversed backward traversal. You need to use the concept of runner technique, which we have seen in the previous session. So that is a little confusing for students or any even junior developers to understand those basic concepts, and they need to seriously practice before the interview. That's the reason interviewers expect seriousness of the candidate, how seriously they have prepared for the interview, and that preparation involves more about single linked list and some fundamental concepts with arrays like dynamic programming and recursion, and then searching, sorting, those topics. But when you go to the industry, it's opposite. You frequently use the concept of double linked list. However, some interviewers might ask you, most frequent question in the double linked list is, how would you delete a node in a double linked list? It's pretty easy. You just need to write it. I'll show you in 5 minutes. You need to write a loop, same as single linked list, but it is pretty easy to delete a node compared to single linked list, because you need to use both the pointers. One is to assign the previous value, one to assign the next value, so that you can connect both, and then the node will be deleted from that list. So it's easy, but they'll see your fundamentals with that program to make sure you don't make any uh, mistakes. Not syntactically, but logically, you shouldn't make any mistakes. Uh, but why people don't ask many more questions in the double linked list is, as I already said, interview duration is around 45 minutes to 1 hour each round. In any round, if you take 2 interview questions, they would expect to ask you minimum 2. One is maybe 10-minute question. So 10-minute questions can be arrays, strings, or single linked list. They can take 10 to 15 minutes. Then you don't need to write hundreds of lines of code anytime. You just need to write 5 to 10 lines with that, striking that idea and explaining clearly with a proper dry run and covering all test cases. That's important. So 10 minutes to 15 minutes is enough. And the remaining 30 minutes will be again split into usually 15 to 20 minutes for larger question, say like trees. Usually binary trees is good time to take you. Whereas if you take the double linked list is in between. It is neither small like arrays or linked list, single linked list, nor larger like binary trees or graphs. Usually binary trees is the scope. Sometimes they may test your knowledge on B or B plus trees, but nowadays because of uh, you know uh, many considerations, interviewers do not ask more complex trees. They do go limit to the binary trees, but they mix binary tree with array. That is more frequent combination. So they mix the array and the tree together and ask you questions. So you need to have good practice on those. So 2 questions in each round, as I said, at least 2 interview rounds you will be like this, facing like this. One is on linear data structures. I mean, linear means array or single linked list usually, or strings. String and array are similar, but small changes are there. In strings, I'll cover when we talk about strings. And the next thing, which probably from next week onwards, we will start discussing about binary trees. You need to practice minimum 75 to 100 questions on binary trees and mix of that, like mix tree with array or tree with single linked list like that. If you cover that, you would able to answer both the questions in any company, in any interview related to data structures and algorithms. Okay, so double linked list, but why we need to learn double linked list is double linked lists are really important when you join the company for real work. And second thing is trees are extension of double linked list, especially binary trees. So if you know the fundamentals of double linked list, trees are pretty easy to understand. That's why those concepts are important to learn. Cool. So today, in the next 10 minutes, let us cover one program on deleting a double linked list, and let me know if you have any doubts. Share the screen. This is a program. This is kind of optional. Ignore it is constructor. Do you see? This is just a constructor which is assigning value. Whenever I create a node with value, this block will be executed. Okay.
Okay.
This is same as here. This pointer is needed. This means this one. And what is the other one? The input value. This is one way. Or the other way is if you don't want to do any confusion, input. Then you don't need any of such confusion. Data equal to input. Even this all also optional. That's it. This is an easy way to write in the interview. However,
So that's a constructor?
yeah, it's a constructor. Because class name and constructor name is same, and constructor doesn't have return type, not even void. Now it is a function.
So constructors are inside the class?
Yes. Constructors
Okay.
always should be inside a class. Okay. This is the ideal way to write the code. But in the industry, this is how we should write. The reason is it's again specific to the organization, but it covers a lot of things and differentiates you from other interview candidates, because anybody can write the previous approach. This one would be a little more stylish. That's it. But the purpose is
So what is the code actually saying?
good question. So here I'll show you. In the main, this is the real double linked list class, which is creating memory for these 3 locations. Okay. So when I create object like this head, this code creates object with 3 values. One is data, 2 are the links to the addresses, 2 addresses.
Okay.
One is previous, one is next. Initially, these are null. This is also 0, empty. There is no memory. Now, if we go and create insertion, if I want to insert a value, say like insert at beginning, let's go and see the function. This is the new data. Now, if I want to insert that data to head, initially head is null or empty. Now I need to insert a new node, say like 10 here, right? 5. If they want to add 5 to that beginning, they are creating another memory. While creating a new means object creation. When they are creating an object with value 5, then it calls constructor. Constructor invocation means this node class calls its constructor with 5. The value 5 will be stored here, and then that will be assigned to this value.
So node is memory space?
Yes, memory with 3 boxes.
Okay.
It is like a large box with 3 segments in it.
Okay.
First segment is storing 5. Second and third segments are not having empty values. We say them as null. Okay. And then this is going to be invoked. 4 will be called. 4 will be inserted in the same fashion. It creates a new memory packet. And that also calls constructor.
Of the other one?
Yes. And it also sends one value. What is that? 4. Because we are sending 4 here. This 4 will be called and it will be sent to here. And this is going to be updated. Now, another block is created with 4. If I want to give you exact memory, null, 5, null. This is box 1. And second box is null, 4, and null.
So it only adds it in the middle?
There is no linking between them as of now, but they will be linked like this. They will be linked like this. Head is initially assigned to this value. This is head. The name of this node is head. Now, is head null? No, head is not null because current is equal to head. Head is not null. If head is not null, it checks whether the value is duplicate. No, because it is 5. Head is having value 5, but we are trying to insert value 4. If current and head are same, yes, that's true right now. Head equal to current dot next. Okay. But technically what exactly going to happen is, because we have 5 minutes, I would like to explain you. This new node will be I would also give one more memory that is called internal address. This is internal address. Address means bit number. So it is ideally byte number, but I would say bit or byte. So select 234 is the memory address, starting memory address for this node. Ideally, head used to store 234. Okay. Now, head of what that logic is doing, head of previous equal to new node because I want to insert at the beginning. Beginning means this is the new node. So ideally 457 should be updated here. That is operation 1. Operation 2 is we need to link these two, right? So the linking is same as stitching. Same as stitching. Two things are two flowers. So here this node 4.next is storing 234. Similarly, I need to do a reverse stitching. Reverse stitching means this is called next pointer. This is previous pointer. This is data. Reverse stitching means here previous is always empty for the first node, no problem. But the second node's previous should be 457. You understand? This is the way we need to explain to the interviewer. What has happened here? We have connected these both the directions. Now, if I want to know who is in front of 5 in the queue, address previous. What is the previous address of? My bad.
457.
Yes. The previous address is 457. And what is the value in it? 4.
4.
So to represent that, we use a statement called, if I want to access from here to here, if I want from second node to first node, if I want to connect node 2, what does that mean? It is like your father's, say like
Reverse.
your father's name. Okay. Now, if I say this, what does it mean? There is no value though. It is like your grandfather's name, something like that. Okay. Similarly, this is your name, your details. Same way, now I want to talk with from node 1. Node 1 dot data means 4. Node 1 dot next dot data means the next generation, that is here, second node. And if suppose that person is having grandchildren, ideally it is empty now, but you can access like this. You understand? This is the magic with the linked list. You can go both the directions, either this way or the other way, using next and previous nodes. And you can easily do operations like search, insert, delete, or anything. That's exactly happening here. If I want to insert at the beginning, I just do this way. I keep searching for the head node and then just assign the new node with head. But what I'm doing always, update previous node with the current node. Update the previous values until the end of loop and then come and update with the new node. So this is one loop. If you try creating like this, a diagram like this, you'll understand many things. Like this, try to create for 5 or 6 nodes, you'll understand many more things. But this is what interviewers usually expect you to write the code for deletion of a node. So keep in mind, you need to be very cautious with all the edge cases, like deleting a node which is having one next value. or a node which is not having any values, next and previous, or a node with both next and previous, if it is middle node. Those are the conditions we need to keep in mind. And then write this loop. That's it. Okay. So I'll copy paste this in the notes. Try to play with this program. But this is only interview question. But as you learn trees, graphs, this one will become very easy for you. But right now it looks a little hard. But trees and graphs are always same. But previous and next will be replaced with left node and right node. If you know that left and right nodes concepts clearly, this is very easy. But initially, at first, it looks confusing, but don't worry. If from next session onwards, once we talk about trees and graphs, you'll learn more. Any questions until then?
No, I think it's okay.
Okay, good. And next one is, okay, let's stop recording. Thank you.